through the webbing, through the middle of the glove. The ball went through Vladdy's hand, and the Jays are 1-9 in the last 10. Through the webbing, it cost
You got that
them.
voice, man.
I don't. It's just, I'm only good if the music's not there. Like anyone listening to me sing, I think the Blue Jays just hit rock bottom, Bones.
They absolutely did hit rock bottom. A team meeting is imminent.
They already had one, allegedly, and they definitely could have more. We're going to talk about that series where they got swept by the Mariners. It's Locked On Blue Jays. It starts right now.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Blue Jays. Thanks so much for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. You can find us on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Twitter at Locked On Jays on Twitter, and our email, lockedonbluejaysreal@gmail.com, R-E-A-L, Locked On Blue Jays, R-E-A-L @gmail.com. I tried to speed through that as the Blue Jays are trying to speed out of Seattle right now and get back home badly because they lost a 4-game set. They lost all 4. By the way, this episode brought to you by Sports Card Investor. Hey, Blue Jays fans, you're going to love this. Sports Card Investor app welcomes you to the world of trading cards reimagined. Stay tuned later in the show for more information on this awesome new tool for collectors. You're going to want to check out the Sports Card Investor app. We didn't have an episode Friday for obvious reasons if you're Canadian, and if you're not Canadian, one of the major networks for internet went down, and so we couldn't do an episode Friday. So this is the first we're speaking of this series at all. We were going to have a chance to do the opener. That's awful. I mean, that's the worst series they've played all year.
Not even close. I mean, that was just abysmal. Yeah, I mean, this is it, dude. Like, you were in the meat of the season. I'd say this all the time on the podcast about how you need to, especially, I mean, they're not a division rival, but especially against division rivals, you need to win every single game you possibly can, because at the end of the year, you're going to be looking back saying, if we could have got one there. 4 games to the Mariners, who are a wild card rival at this point, now neck and neck in the standings. That's huge. I mean, that is huge. You were 4 games up on them coming up into the series. It is now tied.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, not a division rival, sure, but essentially as dangerous. Like, the division, to a certain extent, doesn't matter at this point. The Yankees are going to win. Now, every other division rival, because, I mean, we might talk about it briefly at some point, the Orioles are amazing now. It's just a wild card race. That's what it is for the Blue Jays. So your rivals sub the Yankees out and sub the Mariners in, really. Those are your rivals now. Obviously, you want to beat the Yankees, but catching them, especially at this point, not really what you're focused on. And that's huge. In the last 10 games, even before this series, you could go even more back. The last 10 games, the Mariners are 9-1 and the Blue Jays are 1-9.
Yeah. I mean, like, you just blew it. You've
given them 9 games or 8 games in the last 10.
Bad. All I can
and
say
yet a
is
series
bad.
against the A's. The Mariners obviously are hot, don't get me wrong, but this is why you can't lose a series to the A's. And you just, I don't know, you couldn't do this, but they did do it. They're only 3 games up on 500. Going back to the series where they got swept, what's your main storyline, Bones?
Storyline is that Vladdy needs a new glove, dude. Kind of addressing the obvious. But if you remember the Orioles series, which I believe it was the Orioles series, I mean, maybe it was a Yankee series. I don't know. It was one of those series back a few weeks ago. The same exact thing happened to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That time it was going to be the last out of the game in a game that they were up pretty big. And the ball went straight through his glove. And I remember Pat Tabler saying on the broadcast, all right, that glove will be back tomorrow. It'll take 10 to 20 minutes to fix that. And the glove that they brought out was a practice glove, is what they said on the broadcast. So Vladdy finished the game with a practice glove, whatever. It worked. Next game comes. The next day, He trots out there with the exact same glove, and on the broadcast, they say it was unfixable. It had been torn to shreds pretty much by the ball. So Vladdy trotted out there with seemingly a practice glove. I feel like that's kind of an insane take by the Blue Jays not to just get him another glove. Like, if you're a Major League Baseball
Well,
team, I was
I
under the
assume he
impression.
chose that, right? Like he must.
I
have
do
chose
too, but like, it cannot have been that good if it broke not even a month later, right? Like, come on, exact same thing happens. You got to get this man a glove that is reliable. I mean, you cannot. I'm not going to blame today's loss on that glove, but I am going to say it didn't help. It definitely was a turning point in the game. It made the inning go on longer than it had to be, and then they kind of, if you look back, like you could say they lost the game because of that.
2 runs scored in a game that ended up a 1-run win for Seattle. Max
Get the man a
Castillo
glove.
probably gone 5 innings fully had he not had to throw the extra pitches and had an even better start than he did, even though he was solid. Yeah, I mean, my storyline kind of relates to yours. The juju right now is terrible. I mean, they're not playing well. And again, I'm like you, I'm not blaming their losses on bad luck, but they aren't having good luck. I can tell you that. Lots of guys drop baseballs like Lourdes Gurriel did in the first game. You got to drop it in an extra special way to push it over the wall. That's about as bad luck as you're going to get.
So Jose Canseco right there.
Yeah, I mean, I will say and then I heard people on Sportsnet, like not just opposing teams, say Canseco. Canseco's hit him in the head.
I know. That's just funny.
That's the worst play ever. Like Niger Morgan hit off his glove and put a ball over the fence for Milwaukee in the early 2010s, I think. And then actually, like a couple days later, thought he did it, but the ball landed behind him.
Threw his glove down. Yeah.
That's my favorite play in baseball history. But Lourdes is like pop over the wall and Vladdy's, ball through the glove. Like they're not getting help from the baseball gods. They're going to have to help themselves out because, they got swept and that stinks. They also lost 2 games in this series by 1 run and another one in extras. Like they were in a way getting the breaks away from winning, but you're not going to be handed the breaks, especially when you're not playing well and you don't deserve them. The main thing I took out is just like not only are they playing poorly, but it's just it could not around them be going worse basically than it is right now. Yeah. With that,
that's bad.
With that, there are MVPs. There were people who played well. It's baseball. Individuals can succeed. Who at least was a positive for you in the series?
The only man who I thought shined for the entirety of the time that he was on the field was Alek Manoah. Manoah was a dog once again in a 3rd game in a row in which the Jays lose when he takes the mound. 2nd game in a row where he gets a losing decision. He let up 2 runs on a mistake pitch homer, but other than that, it was pretty much immaculate. He gave up 4 walks, but 7 Ks. He only allowed 3 hits. Like, he was just fantastic, just kind of going toe-to-toe with Robbie Ray in a total pitcher's duel. The bats just couldn't help him out. I mean, that was a game in which the Jays loaded the bases with nobody out against Robbie Ray and didn't scratch even one across. So, I mean, that's brutal. You have to help your pitcher out a little bit, especially when both guys are just shoving. So Manoah pitches well once again, 3rd time in a row the Jays lose when he's on the mound.
Real MVPs were us because we had a pretty solid Scary's hype train week. I had Ray, you had Julio Rodriguez, and then my guy that I'm picking for MVP of this series was my hype train going into it. He was also the only guy to score a run off Robbie Ray. George Springer, who ends the series with 2 home runs, hit the leadoff home run in today's game for you listening, yesterday's game, which looked like it was going to be like a big moment to really power them to avoiding the sweep. Obviously, it was not. But George had a solid series. His 2 home runs, solo shots, but that's obviously, I mean, one was a leadoff home run. The other one is just more of an indictment on the team, not putting people on base when they needed to. So I thought George had a good series. I can't believe it because it's like a 2nd series in a row we have to say this, but it's like a burn the tape. I don't ever want to talk about this series again.
You probably will. when the season's coming to an end. I guarantee we'll talk about this one. So you won't get your wish there. Sorry, Benjamin.
I know. I'm sorry. Well, I do get my wish coming up because we get to play everyone's favorite game. He Was a Blue Jay is coming up on Locked On Blue Jays, so stick around for that. But before we get there, I want to talk to you about Athletic Greens, specifically AG1, a product that I literally use every single day. I started using AG1 because I didn't have a lot of time before work, and I wanted to find a way to make sure that I was still getting the nutrition I needed. And the good thing is, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you get 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. It's just a great all-around product. It's a small micro habit, but it's got big benefits. It's something you can do every single day to take care of yourself. And it was created out of a story that a lot of people have experienced. The founder was experiencing a ton of gut health issues and ended up on a complicated supplement routine to recover that cost him over $100 a day. Instead of that, you can just do AG1 for less than $3 a day. It's investing in your health cheaper than, some sort of daily coffee cold brew habit. So look, Athletic Greens is trying to help you reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your gut health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/MLB Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/MLB Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, Bones.
And we back.
It's time for He Was a Blue Jay. We are back. He Was a Blue Jay's back. It's been a little bit since our last He Was a Blue Jay. Do you remember when we did our last one? I want to say it's like over a week ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I don't even remember who it was or if I won.
I'll get you that right now. It was Matt Latos. You did get it.
Ooh, that was a good one. Yeah, I was proud
Matt
of that one.
Latos, you did get it. You got it a little quicker, I believe, than I was expecting you to. I forget which hint. I think you got it off the third hint, which was that he had one playoff appearance, and it was with Cincinnati in 2012. So that's pretty impressive, because I always thought of Latos most as Padre. But you're now 24-6. And I believe you're either back to or above 500 in season 3. I don't have those numbers in front of me right now, but it's only season 3 names on the board. I think we've decided, I don't want to speak for you, that season 4 is going to be the season of Bones. That you're going to try.
Yeah, we're gonna flip the tables on you.
So we'll see. I know you think I'm going to be better because I grew up as a Blue Jays fan. I'm worried about being on the other end of this. I've sat in a very comfortable position here of having all the info and stuff in front of me. So your 24-6 record, not something that I'm excited about, being compared to. But let's get today's He Was a Blue Jay going. For anyone who doesn't know the game, I pick a Blue Jay that you may not remember was a Blue Jay, probably more prominent with another team, and then I'll give 5 different hints about their career to try and give Bones an idea of who this guy was. He's got 3 guesses about, or 30 seconds about in between each, a little more leniency after the 5th hint, and if he taps out, he loses. If he gets it in the 5 hints or sooner, he wins. He's got a couple different ones in 2 hints. He's never gotten a guy on the first hint, and I will be impressed if he ever does. Here is your first hint for today's He Was a Blue Jay. This pitcher debuted in the majors in 2010.
Okay. 2010. Who debuted in 2010? I'm gonna go with Colby Lewis.
Incorrect.
Tommy Hunter.
Incorrect. Big game. Love that.
Kevin Millwood.
Incorrect. Let's move on.
Way earlier than 2010.
Yeah, significantly. Might have been a Blue Jay, though. That's kind of a weird spot for me that I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah.
Hint number 2, and I'll check on that while you're thinking about hint number 2. He spent the majority of his career in the NL East.
Okay, so let's think here. Tom Kohler.
Not Tom Kohler. Millwood, by the way, debuted in '97.
Yeah, no, it was way earlier.
But he was an Oriole.
Cool. I thought I almost had you with Tom Kohler. I won't lie. Was he a Brave? Was he a Met? If he was a Met, I might have a chance here.
Tom Kohler was a Blue Jay. I didn't even know that.
Wow, I just pulled one on you. How did he debut in 2010?
No, he debuted in 2012, so that's where you're a little bit. But
Okay,
the only non-Marlins team was him being a Blue Jay. And don't look up his baseball reference because he will be a future name game guy. He's got an awesome nickname.
Okay. Dylan G.
Not Dylan G.
Oh, I thought I had you. You didn't say he was a starter.
I said this pitcher debuted in 2010, and then I said he spent the majority of his career.
Steve Cishek.
No, but I think he might have been a Blue Jay at one point. But that
okay, move
on. Hit number 3. His 43 saves in 2011 were top 5 in the National League, but he never reached even 30 saves again in a different season.
National League, okay. Like he's not necessarily doing that with an NL East team, but he probably is. Okay, so let's think of NL East closers because it's the only thing I have to go off of here in 2011. Okay, like Bobby Parnell.
Incorrect.
Heath Bell was way earlier than that. It's not a guess.
Wasn't Heath Bell nasty?
Yeah, but he's a Padre and a Marlin. Okay. Who's the Braves closer? It's like Kimbrel, so that doesn't count. Who is like the Phillies guy?
Heath Bell did also have 43 saves in 2011, tied with this guy for top 5 in the NL.
I'm just a man. I really want to say Rafael Soriano. That's probably wrong.
One more guess on this. While you're thinking, I'll just remind people. Pitcher who debuted in 2010, spent the majority of his career in the NL East. He had 43 saves in 2011, which was top 5 in the National League. But no other year did he have 30 saves.
Okay. No, he wasn't a closer. He's too old. I'll go like JC Romero.
Incorrect. Let's move on. He was a Blue Jay in 2016.
I wonder if he was the closer in 2016 or just like a guy in the pen. It's not Ken Giles, is it?
It's not Ken Giles.
Okay. That would have been too easy.
And Ken Giles didn't spend the majority of his career in the East.
Let's think about Blue Jays relievers. It's not Ozuna.
Do you think you know Blue Jays relievers better than NL East closers?
Well, 2016, I would have known who was on the Blue Jays a little bit.
Sure, they did make the ALCS thing.
Like NL East closers in 2011. Like I did Parnell. I don't even know if he was. I'm just assuming he was. I said, what else did I say? Can't even remember what I said. Romero was 100% not, and it was definitely like Brad Lidge.
Soriano.
There's no way this is Brad Lidge. I'd be shocked if this was. No, it wasn't Brad Lidge. He was a closer in 09 and 08. And it's not like Ryan Madsen, so it can't be that either. Like, I have no idea. Like, okay, so who is the Braves closer? It was Kimbrel in 2011, and he was way better than that. So it's got to be the Marlins guy, and I have no earthly idea who the Marlins guy was. Oh, what about the Nationals? I totally forgot the Nationals existed. Okay, hold on. The Nationals. Who was on the Nationals? Oh, is it like Drew Storen?
Drew Storen is correct. Congratulations.
Let's go.
I thought you'd have a much better shot thinking more about NL East closers than Blue Jays relievers.
Dude, Drew Storen was a Blue Jay? What?
That's the reaction.
Why?
Because they were going for it. And so they signed Drew Storen. I think they signed him. Let me get the. So he's a national from 2010 to 2015.
What was the year that he had that terrible postseason game for the Nationals?
I think it was 2010. So we trade Ben Revere, who the Blue Jays had traded for in the 2015 race, for Storen, and he was terrible. Had by far the worst stretch of his career. 38 games, had a 6.21 ERA. We traded him away to Seattle. But yeah, Drew Storen was a Blue Jay. Bones is checking his head.
Sorry, I lost you. I lost you. One second. Keep talking.
Okay. For the people at home, the fifth hit for Drew Storen was going to be he finished his major league career in 2017 with Cincinnati. So yeah, Storen is Bones' 25th win in 31 tries. So that's pretty massive for Bones, continuing to dominate, frankly. My board, very nervous for when I'm on the other side of this. Bones gave me a look
I'm
like
back.
you can't hear me. Yeah, you can't hear me. So, yeah, Storen is your 25th win in 31 games. So, good for you.
It's big for me. Honestly, I was
You might have
shocked.
missed me saying, so they traded Ben Revere for Storen in the 2016 offseason, 2016, because they had just made the playoffs, but their offense was fantastic, and they lost to the great bullpen of Kansas City in the ALCS. So they tried to bulk their own bullpen up, sacrifice some offense. It turned out Revere was never going to be as good again, so it wasn't bad that they got rid of him, but Storen was awful for the Jays.
Yeah, he was one of those guys, like, you kind of really hit the nail on the head. Like, he was so good and then so bad. Craig Stammen was the other guy I was also thinking. I was thinking maybe it's Craig Stammen. All right, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you go ahead here. But we do have, speaking of NL East, Phillies series coming up on the other side.
It's true. Listen, people, sports card investor is a thing you're going to want to be doing. Okay. Welcome to the world of sports cards, baby. Now it's reimagined. The Sports Card Investor app is the hobby's most powerful resource. Quickly check the value of your favorite cards, find great deals, and profit from the hobby you love. Available completely free in the Google Play and Apple App Stores. The Sports Card Investor app is a must-have for baseball fans. It's completely free. Easily browse over 630,000 cards from every sport with hundreds more added each week. Check the latest values of your favorite cards with 7-day or 30-day charts and find the best prices and buy directly through the app with the eBay Deals feature. Download the Sports Card Investor app today, available free in the Google Play and Apple App Stores, or go to sportscardinvestor.com/locked on. All right, we back. It's time to preview this Phillies series. The Phillies, they've been good, 24-10 since they got rid of Rob Thompson. Actually, that's one game outdated.
Got rid of Joe Girardi.
Since they've been under Rob Thompson. Excuse me. Rob Thompson, the GOAT. So they're actually 24-11. So scratch that. But they've been really, really good. I mean, just kind of firing on all cylinders and kind of surprising since Bryce Harper's been hurt. They've been kind of hit by the injury bug. Their MVP from last season is hurt. Gene Segura's on the 60-day IL. Johan Camargo's hurt. Ranger Suarez, Zach Eflin, both on the IL. So they've really been hit by the injury bug. And a lot of their bullpen arms have kind of followed that same fate. Connor Brogdon, Damon Jones, Francisco Morales. A lot of guys hurt. Francisco Morales not hurt, actually. Excuse me. So kind of surprising that they're doing so well, but they are running into the All-Star break red hot. And a team that, if I'm a Blue Jays fan, I am not excited to see coming off of such a terrible 10-game span.
Oh, no. Not excited at all, because one thing, you mentioned a lot of their problems came from the back end, but they've really figured that out. That's kind of an interesting thing about them. Since Harper's gone down, what everyone was saying about Philly was like, awesome, you signed these bats, but your back end bullpen still stinks. Sir Anthony Dominguez has just been gross since they moved him back deeper into the bullpen at a higher leverage. He's been nasty. So, yeah, they did just see the Mariners at the wrong time. Like, Seattle was hot before the Blue Jays played them, and now they're definitely seeing Philly at the wrong time. Thank the Lord for the off day. You're listening to this on a Monday off day, which could not be more needed. But the NL East won't ever totally get there because Washington is so bad, but like continuing to look more and more like the AL East with the Braves getting nasty and the Mets are obviously still good. And now the Phillies are legit and the Marlins are kind of running too. So Philly's not like beating absolute slouches either. I think early on when they got good under Thompson, some people pointed to, hey, the schedule has been pretty light. Whereas when you looked over on the Angels side, the other manager replacement this year, the schedule initially was not light at all. It was really rough. But now we've gone through like 40 games with both of those, and Thompson has clearly been the guy somehow. I don't know how all this stuff works. I've never been in a clubhouse at that level, but or even close. But somehow Thompson's got these guys playing way better.
Yeah, he really does. He's just been absolutely fantastic, and he's a Canadian. So if you read Ben's Twitter, which you should, and mine, you'd know that. All right, Ben, who is your hype train?
My hype train is one of the other reasons I think that they've been playing really so well recently. Kyle Schwarber, a classic June guy. That guy's big in the month of June. And just over the last month has been nasty. We're recording this on July 10th, so I pinpointed June 10th to July 10th. 13 home runs over that stretch in 29 games. Like almost, he hits 2 more and he's more than half the games. 26 RBIs as well. His 69 total bases lead the team. He's not going to hit for a good average, but when this guy's hot, he just smokes the ball. Just absolutely smokes the ball. Blue Jays saw it when he was with Boston last year, and he's familiar with playing in Toronto and familiar with some of the guys. If they're going to win some games, there's a very good shot that Schwarber's hitting big home runs, and that's why they're doing it. Because he and Castellanos had struggled to start the year, and Philly had struggled along with them. Castellanos, they're still really waiting for him, but Schwarber is there, and they are getting what they paid for out of Kyle Schwarber.
So Schwarber is your scary.
Yes.
I saw a stat today, 41% of his hits are home runs. That's
outrageous.
Like insane. I mean, it's really, really crazy. I mean, it's
Baseball
a 219
established
average, but he just hits nukes. It's crazy. My scary is Derek Hall, a man who is new to Major League Baseball, came up on June 29th. He went 0 for 4 the next day, hit 2 home runs. The next day, hit another home run. A week later, hit another home run. This guy is a home run machine. Part of the reason they've been good for the last, week and a half or so. Derek Hall, it's always fun when you bring up a random guy, not necessarily even like a huge prospect. I mean, this kid's 26 years old, and he just starts mashing. So I'm very happy for Derek Hall, but I also would be weary of him at the plate if I were a Toronto Blue Jays pitcher in these next couple of games. The dude is absolutely mashing right now, and you don't want to catch a guy like that at the wrong time. A 289 average and a 992 OPS in his time in the majors thus far. All right, who's your hype train, Ben?
My hype train, speaking of guys who can hit home runs, look, we talked about it off the top. This is the worst stretch the Blue Jays have played all year. They have surpassed their earlier – I know their worst losing streak is still 5, but they've surpassed their earlier 5-game losing streak in the Cleveland, New York, Tampa-ish area, and now they've lost 9 of 10. If they're going to get out of it, they have to turn to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He has to be the guy. He is the guy. And we were talking about it off show. He's especially the guy in high leverage situations. Right now for the Blue Jays, I know we were trying to figure out statistically how to calculate that. If you know, please comment below for us. I'd love to hear. But every situation is high leverage. Every single one. They've gone from comfortably in the wild card, we're pretty sure they're making the playoffs, don't have to worry, to tied for that 3rd wild card spot. The Baltimore Orioles are 2 games behind them, and you just don't know what you're going to get on a daily basis. This guy has to be the reason He was the one who said before the year, last year was the trailer, this year is the movie. He's the guy who almost won the Triple Crown. He's the guy who Blue Jays fans said should have been the MVP last year. If he wants to do right by all that, he's got to come out and mash. And it starts with this Phillies series, but it's really a hype train for much more than that. Like, until the All-Star break, I'm essentially cementing Vladdy as my hype train.
I respect that from you. I'm going to go a little bit analytical juju here. Raimel Tapia is my hype train. Ben's going to hate this pick. I know he is. I know Ben's going to hate this pick. Raimel, arguably the coolest guy on the team, just from a appearance standard. I mean, his hair's cool. The way he walks around, he's all cool. He's like, yeah, I'm Raimel Tapia. What of it? Huh? This kind of guy he is. Raimel against Philadelphia in his career is hitting .310 with a .943 OPS. It's a couple of dongs against Philadelphia in 16 games over his career. He's got 13 hits. The man just mashes against the Phillies, which you got to respect. So I'm hoping that he can bring that. We talked about that before when I think the Reds came to town, maybe. Or no, it was the Cardinals series. I think you picked him, and you were.
I picked him, yeah, National League guy, National League team.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I like, interleague play comes up. You don't know that much about these guys because you've played in the American League for a while. You might go to Raimel and be like, okay, well, you at least play these guys every year. So what's up with Zach Wheeler?
So we'll see if Raimel can kind of give the guys a little bit of an inside edge. But that's all we got for today. Thanks for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. Tomorrow, Ben and I will be back for the beginning of, I guess it'll be the off day for us, but Tuesday for you. So we'll see how that turns out. Go make your second listen, Locked On MLB Prospects. Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. If you made it this far in the video, comment Irish whistle. And we will see you tomorrow.